Going for boost over. Well, I think going for boost if you're a boost merchant, like someone like AJ or someone, you go for boost.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Always, every second of every game. Ball's going in your net, don't worry about it. Go get the boost and make sure you've got the full 100 to celebrate with the other team.
Boost over ball is a good time when your opponent is dribbling towards your own corner and you know it has no threat to go into your net at all. And your teammate is behind you for sure. If all of those align, it's better to just take your corner boost, let him just dribble into the wall for useless and force him to go back with 0. That would be a better time to take boost over ball.
If you've ever wondered when the best time to go boost over ball is, you've come to the right place. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. I'm Kyle, and with me today I got...
What's up? It's Ace, Code Red Jack,
and AJ.
Hell yeah. So today's episode will be our NA Spring Open preview, as well as our Roster Mania reactions and overview. We'd like to give a massive shout out to Dr. John's Decals. He made some Boost Over Ball custom decals for the Octane, the Dominus, the Fennec, as well as a goal blocker and a ball skin for us to use through Alpha Console through Bacchus Mod. His socials will be in the episode notes in the episode description. We'd also like to thank you guys so much for your continued support. It means the world to us. Your rates on wherever you get your podcasts and your interactions with us on social media have really helped us out, so please continue to do that. And without further ado, I think we'll jump right into the show.
All right, so we're going to talk about the roster moves, and we'll talk about NA first. So, Koi drop Aqua and Knight and pick up Sosa and Cheese. I was just going to rapid fire these. V1 drop Torment and pick up Daniel from SSG. SSG replaced Daniel with Hoxer, and Lethamir becomes their sub. Soul pick up Drewy. Is that how you say that?
Drewy or Drew?
I'll go with Drewy. And Stealth and Flit. Nefarious pick up Adam. is that what that?
That's what it's AHDUHM, but to me that's just Adam.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with Adam. So Nefarious picks up Adam, Buddy, and J-Pow. Quantum is created with Rapid, Wonder Mike, and Lunar. You forgot an A in there, by the way. Boop. Unless there's some random Wand Mike that I'm unaware of.
His long lost cousin.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so how are we feeling about all these roster moves?
Oh, go ahead.
Personally, the most important one in that whole list is Daniel to V1, honestly, and I think that we're primed to see V1 actually step it up and become one of the biggest names in NA with that roster move.
My big question on that is, do you think this roster move is obviously made with, looking after V1's best interests, but like looking ahead a little bit, we saw them dominate in Gamers Without Borders or Gamers 8 qualifiers. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but they looked fantastic. So looking ahead a little bit, provided they're able to make Spring Major, do you think this is a roster move that they keep in mind to try and compete with the likes of Carmine Corp and some of the other powerhouses from EU?
I would have to agree with that. I think that the way that both those teams, SSG and V1, were playing, they are both very good teams, but they were never going to be top 4, right? And then when you add any of the international teams in, they just couldn't perform on an international stage in their current in the with the roster that they had. I think that bringing Daniel over makes, I mean, as we'll talk about later about the Gamers 8, I think that we're going to see I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked to see another absolutely scary team in NA.
Yeah, V1 seems dominant. All right, so no moves were had for Optic Energy or Furia. How are we feeling about those? I feel like I've said it before. I feel like Energy needs to change something.
Yeah, I mean,
Ace, what you think? What you think?
I definitely agree. I think Energy needs to change something. They have not really. They just haven't been showing up in any in this whole season. They are kind of just. They're not really anything to talk about. You already know how it's gonna go when you see them. They're gonna make it into the bracket almost every time, or every time. I don't actually know off the top of my head, but they're not competitive at the very top level. They're not a top 5 team in my mind. And another one that you asked about, Furia, I feel kind of bad for them. I had a lot of hopes for them when they moved up to NA at the beginning of this season, and they have just not been able to perform as I'm sure they want to, and as I was hoping they would, with that move to the NA region. What do you think, Kyle?
I mean, NRG dropped Sizz at the beginning after the fall split, and their results didn't really improve that much, and they didn't make a player like roster change, and I'm a little bit worried for them. You know, they made it into the spring open through point seeding. They did not have to go through the qualifier, but you know, how long will that continue, right? So I don't know that they will continue to be in that top 8 in terms of points for very long, with some of the strong results that we've seen, at least like, you know, in Gamers 8 from Koi, and you know, just the way that roster moves have shaken out. I think that there are teams that are going to be pushing them hard for that spot.
All right, so how are we feeling about SSG and how they're gonna do with their new roster?
I'm very meh about them now. I think that they peaked when it was SSG Rebels and Arsenal, and I feel like they made a big mistake in dropping Rebels because they were performing very well. They just need to iron out a few things. I mean, they made it to Worlds, right? But once Rebels was down, the team really was Daniel, and that was it. And now Daniel's gone, so there's really nothing on SSG that's left that makes me excited to watch them. I
still think you're sleeping on LJ though.
That's what I was gonna say.
Kinda nuts. Looking at this, what is it, Gamers Without Borders bracket, the only team they beat was Team Axel, which doesn't exactly look super promising. But I don't think, I mean, weird format. I don't even remember what the format's called. Crew battles, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, crew battles. Can't put a whole lot of weight into it because like they're playing 2s and 1s too. But they're playing a lot of 3s. And if they're doing good in 3s, then they can win an entire series off of that. And they just haven't.
Yeah, so I mean,
I'm thinking it doesn't look great for them.
I don't know. Arsenal tweeted after the Gamers 8 qualifiers where they dropped out that, you know, it wasn't the result that they were looking for, but that, you know, he was excited with the progress that they've made as a team, and I would tend to agree that their 3s looked pretty good. But then you look at, you know, the team, right, and they don't really have that one's main. You know, they don't have Daniel to
That's
just.
true. They don't. Yeah.
They don't have a Daniel or an Atomic to just win 1v1s. And, you know,
Right.
Arsenal's not
Or
going to go out
that
and
super
grind. Like,
sub cosmic.
yeah, exactly. Like,
That's ridiculous.
Arsenal's not going to, like, go out and grind 2s a ton. He's not, like, high on the 2s ladder. So, like, it's probably a little bit different of a format for them. But, I mean, I think that, like you said, LJ is a fantastic player. I don't think he was able to perform as well as he would have liked in the last split, and I don't think the team put him in a position to succeed based on the positioning that they wanted him to play. So I'm cautiously optimistic about how SSG will perform. I definitely don't really foresee a ton of top 4s for them, but I think, you know, top 6, top 8 consistently would be a good result for them.
I think they're going to do better than they did in this tournament, like, in the future.
I think so too.
Like,
I think it'll take a little bit of time.
This
Though
seemed poor.
I don't think
if
they're
we're
going to
being
be.
honest.
I don't think they're going to be one of those teams that are able to just like perform right away. I think they're going to have to ramp into it.
I agree. They're no V1.
Yeah, V1 who's showing dominant, and you know we'll talk about that in a little bit when we get into the Gamers 8 qualifiers. But I think we've kind of talked quite a bit about the roster moves that we've seen in NA. Let's go across the sea here and look at EU. So in EU, we're looking at, oh no, well, I'll try my best. Raziers to Monkeys to team with Mitten and Smokes. Mitten.
Yeah, they're European. they pronounce things different.
Yeah.
Got it. To team with Mitten and Smokes. G1, they're dropping Mark by 8, and their coach Kale.
Yep.
Kale. I was right the first time. But Ollie gets picked up. Oli. Well, yes. That person ends up getting picked up. Why did I get EU? I mean, I volunteered for this. Why did I do this? Because I wasn't thinking. Anyway, Cash, which I'm pretty sure I said correctly, formerly of Quadrant, is now going to be joining Moist, playing alongside Joyo and Juicy. That lineup just rolls off the tongue. Cash, Joyo, and Juicy. I like it.
I mean, you could.
That's at least an extra win right there.
You could bring back the song, right? Rise, Joyo, Vatira, and now Cash, Joyo, and Juicy. I mean, it works with most 3-team names, but it helps that all the player names are shorter in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We don't need a 3-minute long song every time we're rooting for the team.
Exactly.
Looking at you, Carmine.
Yeah. Carmine.
Damn blue wall.
Then we got BDS. They pick up Rise. Extra has moved to the sub slot. And then Quadrant, they pick up Charlie B, Temper, and Carrion. I wasn't corrected, so that must have been right. But that is not how you spell Temper. So
yeah, I'll be honest. I've never heard of any of those players.
Yeah, I can't really speak to them either. What do you know about Charlie B, Temper, or Carrion?
So I mean, your guess was as good as mine on that one. I was Temper. You said that, and I'm like, ooh, that actually probably is how you say that. So I
See, anytime someone has an X in their username, I always pronounce the X because it seems ridiculous that you'd replace something with an X. So I'd say like Texamper, just because don't put an X in your name.
I mean, but simple. TX is also short for transaction in a lot of places, so it could be just transaction Emperor. Texas Emperor?
Thoughts?
I actually messed that up.
Wait.
It's not Kieran.
Okay, I've heard of Cassio.
It's Cassio. And
okay, I just looked over and I was like, did I really misread that badly? And you see you've changed it in the middle.
That would be impressive.
No,
I'd be like, wow.
It is Cassio, who is a name that we've heard before. He's been around the scene. I have not heard much from Charlie B or Temper, who it's gonna be Temper. So I'm sorry if that's incorrect, but that's how it looks to me. That's a good reading. But I don't know. I mean, you'd hope for Quadrant's sake that they are able to continue performing, making those top sixes that they have been with Cash. Hopefully this is maybe a good thing for them in the long run, as their offense was looking a little bit one-dimensional towards the end of last split with it, the Cash Cannon or, him, whatever you wanted to call Cash on Quadrant, but he was kind of like their only offense. It was, the game plan was get the ball, give it to Cash, let Cash do Cash things, and maybe we'll score and win. But hopefully...
You should call him the Cash Cow.
That's a good one, too. I'm here for
Is
it.
that too
I
easy?
like it. It's just sitting right there. Somebody's got to pick it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, maybe it relates to Moist a little bit, too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is that everything that we're talking about for EU? I mean, I guess I don't know if I mentioned Oxygen picking up EXO.
Yep.
EXO.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, Oxygen picks up EXO, and then after all those rosters, I mean that it's not as bad a roster mania as you get between seasons, but I mean we are seeing a lot of moves all the way in NA and EU, of course. People are trying to get those extra wins to make Worlds. This is the last split to do so for this season, but these EU moves. What are you guys' thoughts?
I mean, it's very rare that
I had to see Mark go.
I agree with that. Is sad to see
But-
Mark Bite go.
I like that they picked up Oli though.
Yeah, finally Oli getting on a team. Happy
Yeah.
for him. But, I mean, I think it's very rare that we see a major team, like teams that are at a major, change their roster. And I don't know how much of it is Oxygen wanting to make a change and how much it was Rise wanting to make the switch. But, I mean, I feel like it's pretty rare to see a major team not making a roster change to make their team better. So it makes me kind of think that Rise wanted to move on. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, is it too little too late for BDS with this roster move? What do you guys think?
I hope so. I like Rise, but I don't want to see BDS win again.
I would say it's too late. I mean, world champs to not even really qualifying for anything. It's a long drop, but I think that they needed to accept that whatever magic they had when they won last season was gone and make this change sooner, because I don't know how far they are down the rankings, but they have to have a absolutely insane split, I think, to be able to qualify. I'm trying to pull up the stats.
They
to
are
see whether or
currently
not
they
I'm
are
talking
currently
to-
they're currently sitting 8th.
How?
That's not bad. What?
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I don't know how any of this works. Apparently.
All right, send a link, would you?
Yeah, I cannot find. Oh,
I'm
there
struggling.
It's in the
it
doc.
is. Boom. There it is.
Spring open. Oh, is it?
I just put
You
it
know,
in
this is
the
the
doc.
first episode
Oh,
where
okay,
I
cool.
didn't have this up already because I was like, we're not going to need that. We're just talking about rosters.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think
Oh,
that
they're deep 8th, though, and only the top 4 actually make it to Worlds, right?
They could still make it though.
they can. They just need a
Wait.
good split.
Are you sure? Because do you see the legend at the top eliminated from Worlds contention? They're red.
I think that that's preemptive.
Okay. I think that their only chance is if they
They need to win
Well, no.
regionals. Like almost all
no,
of them.
because if they win everything in this split, how many points is that? Let's see. 24, 34. So they'd get 34 points if they won everything, and they'd still be behind Moist.
What?
If
That's not
Moist
right, is
got
it?
0. Well, I'm looking at what
16,
Moist got.
32, 48. They could get 48 points total by winning every event, which would put them
And-
at 86.
That's still not right, is it?
So they would be 7 points ahead of Moist if Moist gets 0 points this whole split. They're not going to Worlds. There's no way. So yeah, it's way too late.
I would agree. But, I mean, At this
Sure,
point,
but it's possible.
to make Worlds, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Moist would literally have to not make it to brackets in anything this whole split.
Sure. But I'm just saying, it can happen.
You're right. I mean, it could happen, but I think it's unlikely. However, I think that this is a roster
Yeah.
move that you're going to make to, to start to build off of things, right? So, because they can still make the spring major, that's independent of the other two splits that they've performed poorly in. So I think
that is fair.
You look to compete in the.
I feel like
in the
we will
spring
see
major.
them.
I kind of think so too. I think that Rise kind of brings a different element to the team. I mean, Extra was a fantastic player for them. He was just kind of solid. He did a lot of the good things right, and he didn't make a lot of mistakes. But Rise kind of brings some of that flash and some of that passion and flair to his game that I think that they're kind of missing. So maybe Monkey Moon can find some of the swagger that he had at the World Championships last year, and hopefully they will do better.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Strictly because of Rise, not BDS. I want
Fair.
to make that clear.
Well, the other big thing to wonder about though is we're looking at these standings, and Karmine Corp has been, I don't think I'd be far off in saying they've just been absolutely dominant this entire season. Do you see that continuing?
In EU?
Yeah,
Yes.
but not internationally.
Nope.
Why?
You know why? Because we got the NA Super Team version 1.
Version 1 sponsor him.
Yeah.
I
Not
think
biased, I promise.
I think it's more likely I want it to be that Gen G figures their shit out and comes back with vengeance.
That'd be pretty cool.
But I don't know, maybe version 1 is the new squad to root for, which I'm really
Did you
excited
watch
about
the Gamers
because
8 qualifier?
no, I did not,
You missed out.
because I'm bad at
They didn't
this.
lose a game today.
Hey, no spoilers. We're getting there.
We're
working our way down.
Yeah, tell me all about it because I haven't heard anything. Of
Oh,
course,
I will.
real quick before you do though, Kyle, hit us with some APAC.
Okay, we got two kind of major changes for APAC. Rule 1, acquire AMS, who was inactive, and Senzo, formerly of Sandrock Gaming, completes the new Twisted Minds, teaming with SMW and Venom. Not a whole lot in that region in terms of top end talent, but Senzo is a name you may have heard. He was on in Sunless's video about Sandrock Gaming. He has returned to potentially a roster that can help him compete again. So kind of the two main thoughts that I have on this region is with Twisted Minds, kind of their formation. Does this region expand to maybe having 3 teams instead of 2 that compete for the regionals?
No.
That's fair. That's fair. And then I've seen a couple people talk about it on Twitter and talk about it in general, but Falcons had a good event at the Winter Major, but do you think that their time is maybe coming to an end as kings of APAC? Is it finally Rule 1's turn to make a major?
So I think Rule 1 and Falcons are gonna be like duking it out, going back and forth as to like who's on top. I think it's gonna be like super equal between the two, basically.
Okay.
I actually, I live for the good story, and I really want to see Rule 1 overtake Falcons. I want to see them become the Falcons, basically, the team that everybody just expects to see in the majors, in the world championships, and I don't know. We'll see. Now, with how good that region is, I want to see 2 APAC teams in Worlds instead of, I think there's only the 1 slot, right?
I think there
Let's
might
find
be
out.
2 APAC
Is there 2?
spots for Worlds, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2. No, 2 APAC, 2 Sub-Saharan Africa, 2 MENA.
Just 2?
Yep.
That's like the entire region, then.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
But so I mean, Rule 1 finally able to exercise their demons, and they win a regional event in the last split, the winter invitational. They're able to take the win there, so hopefully they will look to build off of that and find their way to a spring major. I know I certainly would love to see it. I think having Sunless there in Boston representing Rule 1 would be a fun sight to see, but we will have to wait and find out, just like everybody else.
Dang. I don't want to wait. I want to know now.
If only I could download the script from the script writers early.
Right? That'd be nice.
Yeah, but they're all on strike, I hear.
Fair.
All right. Let's get into Gamers 8 qualifiers. This is where the good stuff starts. So, format, as we talked about earlier, is crew battles. So they start out with a 3s game. Then the loser of that picks if they want to play 1s or 2s. Then they do that. Go back to a 3s game. And then the next game they play is the opposite of what was picked in game 2. And then they play another 3s game, and it repeats like that. So, NA played Monday, Tuesday, which is today. And it was kind of nuts. The whole situation. Oh, I closed out of the bracket. Dang it. Let me find it real quick. Where'd that go? Oh, is this it?
First off,
Yes,
a little sneak preview to the new spring split format, a double elimination bracket.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Bring
that.
back the Swiss. But I'll take double elimination. That sounds fun.
The Swiss, as in like the group stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
love the Swiss format. I don't know. I just liked it. It was really, it threw me for a
Quick
loop at
aside,
first.
what's the ideal format?
Swiss. Wait, what's yours?
Swiss.
Is it?
Okay. I thought you said 8, and I was like, what's that?
That's what it sounded like.
Nah, I was gonna say wait, because we could talk about
Oh.
this more with the format change.
Oh, okay. That's
Or
fine.
you can edit it, and we talked about it afterwards anyway.
Yeah, make you do more work. That's funny. Okay. Crew battles, NA, double elimination style bracket, and Optic all qualifier. Oh, V1, Koi, G2, and Optic all qualifier for Gamers 8 in Saudi Arabia this summer. Yeah, this was nuts. Koi lost to G2. Okay, I'm going over the Koi storyline here. So Koi lost to G2, got swept by G2 first round. Drop into lower bracket, beat Team Axel, swept Team Axel, beat Complexity 3-1, beat Optic 3-1, beat G2 4-2, and then got swept by Version 1, the super team. So they did real good. I was very impressed by them. Also, I feel like we need to talk about Cosmic. Because, they signed him, specifically for this, basically, right?
Yes, they did. That is correct.
Is this this is going to be the format of Gamers 8, right?
Yes, it is.
Are they allowed to have a sub for Gamers 8?
Yes, they are.
Oh, they are.
Yes. G2 did it
Okay.
last year when they competed. That's what
Oh.
They got a ones main basically because none of them were ones mains.
Right. That makes sense. So I was under the impression that they weren't going to be able to compete in Gamers 8 with a sub. So I felt that it was dumb to let them do it in the qualifiers for it. But knowing that now, it's completely irrelevant. So,
Yeah.
Koi, thoughts?
I mean, it's a fantastic showing for them. It shows their roster move was probably the right decision. I think that they looked really good, especially taking series off of Optic and G2. That's, that's fantastic for them.
How do you feel about the first round? Like, just first game, first series, G2 jitters?
I mean, that's kind of what I feel like it would be, right? Like a little bit of nerves. You're on stream. It's your first kind of big match as a team. You're playing G2, and then you kind of get that like lower bracket mentality, right? Like we've seen teams make the lower bracket runs before.
Oh yeah,
Cloud9 and Dignitas, back in the day, with the bracket resets and NRG doing the same thing. Maybe it's just the lack of expectations, right? You're in the losers bracket. No one expects you to do anything. You've already lost.
Right.
So you got nothing to lose.
It's crazy.
But
we got to be fair to Koi. Like Koi, this isn't the first time that they have surprised us. They have become really competitive, and they weren't a name that I was very familiar with. I think until was it the last major that they made a deep run that nobody was expecting. I have to go back in time.
Regional.
Was it a regional run? That it was top 8?
Oh, yeah.
They beat version 1 to get into top 8.
Yeah, I was like, who even are these people, right? And now
that was the first time I heard about them.
Okay, good. Yeah, not just me.
Yeah.
D1 and Koi in the grand finals, like what a showing for them.
I mean, that was like the perpetual, like in group stages, Koi was like the perpetual, like, oh, they're 4th, they're getting eliminated, like they're the bottom, they're like the, the fish food, and they're the cannon fodder of this group. And
I think we actually said those exact words about them.
I'm pretty sure we did. That's why I said that. But they seem to have turned the narrative. So good for them, a good roster move, and hopefully they can continue it up because as a fan, seeing more good teams makes the tournaments and the regionals that much more interesting.
Yeah, I hope they do just as well in the all threes events also. That would be fantastic. All right. So, yeah, V1 swept Koi in the grand finals, and V1 did not drop a game today. They looked incredible.
Casters were going crazy, too.
Yeah, they were going nuts.
Johnny, on stream, they were up 3-0 over G2, and Johnny said... like they were about to win game 3, and Johnny said, after this game, Com could probably just sit down his controller and go AFK because it'll be a 1s and then a 2s game if they lose, and then he's not going to play in either of those. And he stopped for a second and then said, actually, you know what, Beast Mode could probably just set his controller down too. They could just go for an early dinner because Daniel's got this 1v1 on lock for the sweep. I was like, holy.
Yeah, that ruthless. Like all of the casters were just going in. It was awesome.
Man,
I loved it. All right,
definitely makes for a much more fun to watch event. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I like RLCS. RLCS is great, but
talking about fun events, I love watching crew battles. Like seeing the 2v2s and the 1v1s along with the 3v3s, I think is fantastic, and I think they should do more of it.
I mean, I certainly think it's a good change of pace, right? So like I remember watching the Gamers 8 grand finals last year, right? That's like kind of when Jan from Furia broke onto the scene, right? He won 2 1v1 matches and sealed them the series, right? Because they were just trying to ego him, and they're like, oh wait, I'm not going to lose twice to him. But it's certainly a format that favors certain players and certain teams, and it really, rewards players who have been grinding in other game modes like Daniel in 1s and, Daniel and Beast Mode in 2s, and there's a reason that I've picked There's a reason I've picked V1 for for both examples, but
Yeah, they are so fun to watch in 2s. I love it. Like they're just pre-jumping everything. It just looks like they're having so much fun when they're playing. It's great.
yeah.
All right, and EU qualifiers are ready to be played on Wednesday the 3rd and going through the Friday. So that's tomorrow, the 3rd, until Friday the 5th.
Awesome. Well, I'll have to actually watch those because that sounds like a blast. I really like the idea of this new format. It sounds absolutely fantastic. I guess not new format, but the way that they do this tournament.
And there's
But
a little bit
I
of
love Gamers 8.
there's like a little bit of strategy involved too, right? So like based on, what kind of game modes you pick when and who you're going to play in those games. So it's definitely interesting to watch, and I love trying to follow the thought process.
And the winners get to donate a whole bunch of money to charities of their choice, which is also fantastic. So
Yeah.
That is
It's always cool,
absolutely
too.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But speaking of formats, we have a format change for the spring split, which we may or may not have already talked about, depending on the editing skills of our editor. But if we haven't,
You gotta put me on blast like that, damn.
but if we haven't, I'm going to talk about it now. We have a format change for the spring split. Where double elimination bracket is back. Now, it's not Swiss, which, I'll forgive them, but double elimination bracket's back, and there's an opportunity for a bracket reset, which I think is amazing, because what I really want more than anything else is for a bracket reset, reverse sweep, just grand finals. I don't even care which teams it is. If it's just somebody just completely sweeps all the way through the bracket reset, that's what I want. That's what I
It's
want
gonna be
for
like a
people
4-hour grand final.
Hell
Good.
yeah.
watching. More Rocket League.
It's ridiculous. God, it's gonna be like watching Platts play after that much Rocket League. Like they're gonna be so exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, some of the greatest moments in RLCS history, though, come from bracket reset matches.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But, man, so I'm personally excited about the format change. I think that this format will be, in my opinion, a little bit more entertaining than the group style matches that we've had before. But again, we talked about it before. I'm not sure if I'm going to edit the change into it, but we talked about it before. But all of our favorite format would be the Swiss, so I'd love to see a revival of that. But I think a double elimination bracket is definitely a step in the right direction. But now, jumping into our NA Spring Open preview, I'll start out with the closed qualifiers. We have M80, Optic, Furia, Koi, 0-1, Hey Bro, Shopify Rebellion, and Sup, all qualifying into the Spring Open in that order that I just said. Yes, M80 and Optic were top 2, and they will now compete in the Spring Open. So with that being said, we're going to jump into our predictions. We're going to do our top 4 and our winners, and we are going to write them down so that we can come back and see how wrong we were. And so, what up?
What? I saw this Spring Open. Hey, bro, who is that?
I have no idea. But there's also Sup. You have Sup and Hey Bro.
Stuff, yeah. Money Expert and Ajax. I've actually heard of 2 of them.
Yeah, Hawk is someone who's been around for a while.
I do know that.
They have a region transfer in Creams.
Wales? What? What is this team? Man, I hope they win. How cool would that be?
But we are going to do our predictions here. I'm going to put everybody on the spot, including myself. So we're going to predict the upper bracket finals, the lower bracket finals, the lower bracket finals, and the grand finals. So we're gonna pick our top 4 teams and then our eventual winners.
I'll start since I'm already ahead of the game and I wrote it down. Look at that.
Okay.
I don't know how this format works. So this might not even be possible because that's how good I am at this. But upper bracket final is going to be version 1 first. Oh no, first phase upper bracket final.
That can
Lower
happen.
bracket
You are
final.
correct.
Yep.
Lower bracket final is going to be Gen G complexity. But what we're going to get is a Gen G V1 grand final. And V1's going to win.
Okay. So
Interesting.
yeah, that's
Oh, wait, no. Lower bracket final has to be one of the ones that lost in the upper bracket final. See, I don't know how this works yet.
No,
but I can read.
we're
No,
good.
that's not true.
So we'll do lower bracket semifinal, which, in reality is basically the 2 best teams from the lower bracket, and we'll do the upper bracket final because the person from the upper bracket final basically has 2 chances to make the grand final.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I, like you, will pick V1 as one of my teams to make the upper bracket finals, and to face them, I feel like I got to go phase 2, which is lame, and I am not. I don't like
gross.
I know I don't like picking them, but it's. I feel like it's got to be done. Next, I kind of have believe in the redemption arc. So in my lower bracket finals, I got Optic. I'd love to see them perform well. I'd love to see them have a good event. So I'm hopeful that they can make a little bit of a run here. And my 4th team, I'm gonna pick another dark horse. I'm gonna go M80. I think that they have shown quite a lot, and I think that they'll be able to take some of the momentum that they got from the closed qualifiers and maybe make a pretty deep lower bracket run. And then again, just like Ace, I have V1 winning it all.
All right. I hate to be super boring like you, Kyle, but upper bracket final is gonna be V1 phase.
Yeah,
It feels like it can't be anything else at this point.
I would tend to agree.
Which
So did we all
feels
just
weird
agree?
to say?
Well, so I mean, like my thing is it's all about that bracket placement, right? So like you'll get most
Right.
likely you'll get complexity version 1 in the upper bracket quarterfinals. That's a tough matchup for complexity. I think V1 takes it, right? And then they play most likely either G2 or Optic in
G2 Optic,
the
yeah.
upper bracket semis, and that's I think that they can
Or
beat
Koi.
yeah, or Koi.
We can't discount Koi here.
Fair.
We saw him. We saw him today. And
Yeah.
yesterday.
But I mean, I don't really see it going any
I'm
other
gonna
way.
say Koi in the lower bracket.
Okay.
Lower bracket final. I'm on the Koi boy train.
Okay.
Has a good ring to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's the episode name. # Koi Boy Train.
Nice. I like it. Lower bracket Koi and well, the lower bracket final would be loser of upper bracket final, right? So, phase.
Well, we're picking top 4, right?
Calling
and so
we're calling it semifinal.
yeah, your
top 4. Okay.
your top
gotcha,
4 comes
gotcha.
from the lower bracket semifinal.
I'm gonna in that case. It feels like it has to be G2, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
it
I'll
kind of
agree
does
with you.
feel like that, but are they actually going to perform and compete and
Yeah.
win the matches?
Is it gonna be World Finals G2 or any other series G2?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be G2.
And then I'm going to
And
go out.
V1 wins.
I was going to go out on a limb here and say you have V1 winning it. So all of us
Yeah.
have the same upper bracket final and the same winner. So, things can only go downhill from here.
Yeah, so basically, we can only beat each other in the lower bracket.
Yeah.
So let's see
Oh,
how
but
good we are.
will
at this.
beat each other in the lower bracket.
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
There's no way we're all three right about upper bracket, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no way.
No,
There-
100%. We have a podcast. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're experts.
Oh
Right.
man.
Oh, that's bold. His words, not mine.
I didn't say it either.
It just okay. So
I don't see any other storyline. I don't see any other way that upper bracket plays out.
I kind of don't
I'm
either.
making a full bracket after this.
Oh, me too. Actually, you know what? Let's do that too. So
Okay.
if you make the bracket, we'll post on the Twitter account, and we will do a bracket challenge, and I will give whoever wins the bracket challenge, I will give you some credits.
Fuck yeah.
So I will announce it. I will announce it on the Twitter and the Twitter. God, I hate that I just said
You
that.
are so old.
I'm basically dead, right? If Rizzo is ancient, then what's past ancient? Extinct?
You're like a 45-year-old man in whatever age your body is. The Twitter.
Yeah. Okay.
The Twitter sphere.
Yep. Well, I'll announce the giveaway and the contest on Twitter. The winner will get credits. We will go from there.
Dope. I
So-
like it. All right. Well, moving right along from that, we are going to talk about the spring major. We have quite the update for you. For one, you're going to see all three of us there. We will all be there in Boston. And we will be working together with our crew of folks that help us out with the photos and the audio and all that other stuff. And we're going to be getting you as much top tier content as possible. We again have been able to do what the entire point of this podcast is, which is score media, VIP, whatever kind of pass you call them, and pretend to be experts at this. And we will
Oh no, we are
you
experts
guys-
according to you.
well, that was me 5 minutes ago. It's a different me. Very different me.
It's a different
All right.
time.
The
Yeah.
not so expert us now.
Yeah. I've lost expertise in the last few minutes.
That's funny.
But yeah, so stay tuned. We may be able to do some giveaways for you, and we'll provide you a bit more information as far as what kind of content we're going to be able to bring you and the access we are able to get with our passes as we get closer to the event.
But as always, thank you guys so much for listening. Please make sure to check out our website, www.boostoverball.com. We just added a Patreon if you're so inclined. All of the money that we make from Patreon will go towards travel and lodging expenses to go to these events to bring you guys as much content as possible. Follow our new Instagram as we share pictures and videos from our time at the Winter Major. We have a lot more exciting content coming soon, so we can't wait for you guys to share that with you guys. But as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast.